Hey there, Earthling! I am Sir Kima, and I will be your virtual guide in using this interactive material. Earthquakes are one of the frequent natural events that our country experiences. Hence, it is important to have a good understanding of the basics. Today, we'll uncover important aspects: how the epicenter relates to the focus, the difference between earthquake magnitude and intensity, and how underwater earthquakes may or may not generate tsunamis. Follow the order of sections to have a guided understanding. To proceed, click the arrow button. Let's proceed to the first section, the epicenter and focus. This is an earthquake occurring along a fault. Let's click the blue star to reveal the location of an earthquake's focus. There you go! This time, let's click the yellow star to reveal the location of an earthquake's epicenter. There you go! I would like you to study the animation on the right. Then, correctly complete the statement below by clicking the box that corresponds to your answer. An earthquake begins underground at a point called the focus, where stress is suddenly released. On the other hand, the epicenter is the point on the Earth's surface directly above the focus. If you got them right, good job! Let's continue. As you have learned in the previous lessons, the epicenter is typically where the strongest shaking occurs on the surface because it is typically the closest point to the focus of an earthquake. Now, who determines an earthquake's depth of focus and epicenter? It's PhilVolcs, or the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology. Through its seismic monitoring stations placed around the country, PhilVolcs determines an earthquake's depth of focus and epicenter. For us in Iloilo, our seismic station is located in the town of Dueñas. Let's have an example of an epicenter. The epicenter of the 1990 Panay earthquake, which hit Panay Island on June 14, 1990 at 3:41 p.m. was located at 11.34 degrees north latitude and 122.10 degrees east longitude in the vicinity of Culasi, Antique. The epicenter is shown on this map. Under this epicenter is the focus of the earthquake, which was computed to be 15 kilometers deep from the surface. Let's proceed to the second section, magnitude and intensity. During the second lesson, you have learned the basics of magnitude and intensity. I would like you to watch again the video before we proceed to the examples.
There are two ways by which we can measure the strength of an earthquake: magnitude and intensity. Magnitude is the energy released by an earthquake at the focus, or the point inside the earth where the earthquake started. It is calculated from earthquakes recorded by an instrument called a seismograph. It is represented by Arabic numbers such as these. The higher the number, the stronger the energy released by an earthquake. For instance, the 1948 Lady Kaikai earthquake, which has a magnitude of 8.2, is stronger compared to the 1990 Panay earthquake, which has a magnitude of 7.1. On the other hand, intensity is the strength of an earthquake as perceived and felt by people in a certain locality. It is a numerical rating based on the relative effects to people, objects, environment, and structures in the surrounding. The intensity is generally higher near the epicenter, or the point on the surface of the Earth directly above the focus where the earthquake started. It is represented by Roman numerals such as these. In the Philippines, the intensity of an earthquake is determined using the PHIVOLCS Earthquake Intensity Scale, or PEIS. The higher the number, the more devastating the earthquake is to the community. Generally, communities that are close to the epicenter of a strong magnitude earthquake can expect more damaging effects due to the high energy causing ground shaking compared to communities that are far from the epicenter.
Alright, let's see if you have really understood the difference between magnitude and intensity. Correctly complete the statement below by clicking the box that corresponds to your answer. An earthquake's blank measures the energy released at the source, while blank refers to the effects of an earthquake as perceived and felt by people in a certain locality. Choose your answer. Let us take the 1990 Panay earthquake as an example. It has a magnitude of 7.1 and the tremor was felt in the following places. Based on the PHIVOLCS Earthquake Intensity Scale, the following are the intensities reported in various places in Panay. Intensity 7, described as destructive shaking. It was felt in Kulasi Antique and Libacao, Aklan. According to the PEIS, Intensity 7 or destructive shaking is characterized by the following. Most people are frightened and run outdoors. People find it difficult to stand in upper floors. Heavy objects and furniture overturn or topple. Big church bells may also ring. Old or poorly built structures suffer considerable damage. Some well-built structures are slightly damaged, and some cracks may also appear on dikes, fish ponds, road surface, or concrete hollow block walls. Limited liquefaction, lateral spreading, and landslides are observed. Trees are also shaken strongly. Take note that liquefaction is a process by which loose saturated sand loses strength during an earthquake and behaves like liquid. Intensity 6, or described as very strong shaking. It was felt in Balete, Calibo, Madalag, Numancia, Altavas and Makato in Aklan, Sigma and Cuartero in Capiz, and Kalinog in Iloilo. According to the PEIS, Intensity 6 or very strong shaking is characterized by the following. Many people are frightened. Many run outdoors. Some people lose their balance and motorists feel like driving with flat tires. Heavy objects and furniture move or may be shifted. Small church bells may also ring. Wall plaster may crack, and very old or poorly built houses and man-made structures are slightly damaged, though well-built structures are not affected. Limited rock falls and rolling boulders occur in hilly to mountainous areas and escarpments. Trees are noticeably shaken. Intensity 5 or strong shaking. It was felt in other parts of Panay and northern part of Negros Island. According to the PEIS, Intensity 5 or strong shaking is characterized by the following. Generally felt by most people indoors and outdoors. Many sleeping people are awakened. Some are frightened, some run outdoors. Strong shaking and rocking are felt throughout building. Hanging objects swing violently. Dining utensils clatter and clink. Some are broken. Small, light, and unstable objects may also fall or overturn. Liquids spill from filled open containers, and standing vehicles rock noticeably. There's also a shaking of leaves and twigs of trees, and this is very noticeable. Intensity 4, or moderately strong shaking. It was felt in other parts of Panay and the rest of Negros Island. According to the PEIS, Intensity 4 or moderately strong shaking is characterized by the following. Felt generally by people indoors and some people outdoors. Light sleepers are awakened. Vibration is felt like the passing of a heavy truck. Hanging objects swing considerably. Dinner plates, glasses, windows and doors rattle. Floors and walls of wood-framed buildings creak. Standing motor cars may rock slightly. Water in containers oscillates strongly. Rumbling sounds may sometimes be heard. Now, what have you observed with the intensity and the distance of the place from the earthquake's epicenter? The intensity is generally blank near the epicenter, which is in Culasi, Antique. Choose your answer. Alright, the intensity is generally higher near the epicenter, which is in Culasi, Antique. Remember, communities that are close to the epicenter of a strong magnitude earthquake can expect more damaging effects due to the high energy causing ground shaking, compared to communities that are far from the epicenter. Let's proceed to the third section. Underwater earthquakes and tsunamis. Let's proceed to the third section. Underwater earthquakes and tsunamis. Before we proceed, I would like you to recall what you have learned in the previous lesson. Correctly complete the statement below by clicking the box that corresponds to your answer. A tsunami is a series of waves caused commonly by an earthquake blank. Choose your answer. Alright, a tsunami is a series of waves caused commonly by an earthquake under the sea. But take note, not all earthquakes occurring under the sea can generate a tsunami. We will learn more about that later. We will now learn the mechanism behind how underwater earthquakes can generate a tsunami. Tsunami-generating earthquakes originate mainly in subduction zones, where tectonic plates collide and one is forced under the other. Let's watch it here. During subduction, the tectonic plate that descends is called the subducting plate, while the one above is called the overriding plate. As the subducting plate descends, the overriding plate gets squeezed. As the leading edge of the overriding plate is dragged down by the subducting plate, an area behind is squeezed, bulging upward. This movement goes on for decades or centuries, slowly building up stress. The leading edge of the overriding plate breaks free and springs seaward, raising the seafloor and the water above it. This uplift of the plate raises the water, resulting to tsunami waves that will travel towards the coastal areas. Here's a recap of the animation showing how an underwater earthquake generates a tsunami. Again, take note that not all underwater earthquakes cause tsunamis. Key earthquake characteristics that contribute to tsunami generation are magnitude and depth. Most tsunamis are generated by earthquakes with magnitudes over 7.0 that occur under or very near the ocean and less than 100 kilometers below the Earth's surface. Congratulations! You have finished this activity. Great job! I am proud of you for accomplishing this activity. I hope that this learning experience has helped in making you understand the concepts of focus, epicenter, magnitude, intensity, underwater earthquakes, and tsunamis.